I'm here. Hi guys, and welcome back. Thank you for joining me. I hope you're all doing really well. I want to check in with you today. I want to see how you're all feeling. So guys, let me know in the comments how you're feeling, and if you're having a nervous day, if you're having a good day, you're happy, things are going great in your life. I want to hear about it, so let me know in the comments. So today I want to talk to you about my journey with ADHD. So I have been lost. I've been lost most of my life, and I've been trying to work out my way of thinking and what's going on in my brain really. So I wanted to kind of talk you through how I have discovered that I potentially have ADHD, or what I believe I have is ADHD. Because I don't believe that I am in any way like a normal person. I don't think anyone's normal really. Everybody's got their own shit going on. I just don't see the world like everybody else, and for a lot of my life I was pushed out, I was ostracized, and I was kind of isolated, and it didn't help that I isolated myself as well, so I was guilty of that. I kind of want to give you an idea of the kind of lost I was in before I found this, before I sort of thought in my head that this could be something that is possibly me. It started really with my emotions. So around when I was going through puberty, I was like a loose cannon. I was just literally flying off the handle every opportunity I had. And it was really, really difficult. It was really scary. And the fact that my mum is very similar to me, we're very, very much the same in our temperaments. We were like chalk and cheese. So we had a lot of arguments. And so we fell out quite a lot. And it was not the most constructive relationship at the start, but we had a lot to learn. So all my life I have struggled with really understanding who I am, because I'm so all over the place with my emotions and everything. So my focus is madness. I will have moments where I have like serious hyper focus, and I can delve into a task and get it done and do it in an amazing way, and then I'll have days where I can't focus at all, and I will mindlessly scroll through Facebook and all the social media platforms just because I have no motivation for anything, nothing. And I won't have the focus to even think about self-care, to think about making dinner, about going to work and stuff like that. Like it consumes me, and I end up just sitting doing nothing, and I let it happen. I have let it happen. I've sort of worked with myself now, and I kind of have found a way to manage this, but initially I was lost. I was focused, and then I wasn't focused, and then I'd have good days, I'd have bad days, and the bad days were me just sitting on the sofa, basically not wanting to speak to anybody, not wanting to be seen by anyone. And that was it. That's all I wanted. And do you know what? I still have those days now, but they're more like little moments. So I'll have like an hour where I'm like that, and then all of a sudden I'll go, no, I need to pick myself out of this because this is just not going the right way. So I've worked with myself to work this out. But anyway, focus is a huge, huge issue here. My mind is a million miles an hour. I literally can't slow down. So all of everything that's happening I'm processing, and I find it really difficult to process one thing at a time, and so I have to kind of take a step back and just chill for a minute and wait for my mind to slow down so that I can process what's been happening, or what somebody said to me, or if I need to do something, then I need to wait to be able to process the plan. I need to wait for my mind to slow down so that I can actually figure out what the next steps are. So with these videos even, I mean, I've just literally been sat here scrolling mindlessly through my phone and watching, I think it was Superstore. I was watching Superstore and watching my dog sleep because she looks so cute as a little donut. that's it. And I'm like, and it's almost like, okay, that focus has gone. So I've had to just leave it and just leave this and just do whatever. Just kind of just sit. Just be for a minute and just mindlessly scroll. And that's not like what I want to do. That's not what I want to do. I want to jump on here and be able to pick up my camera and just instantly be able to do the video that I want to do. But unfortunately, I fall into the trap of, oh, yeah, what's going on? Nothing. Because I'm not doing anything. And I said to myself as I was making my cup of coffee, I said to myself, you were going to make today count. You're going to make today count. You're going to make today count. I said it 3 times because I needed to solidify it. I needed to make sure that today was going to count. So this is why I'm telling you this. But anyway, focus. Guys, see what I mean? I'm going off on tangents. Right. Let's have a look. What's on there? So some minutes I will have all the confidence in the world, and then other days or other minutes I won't. And it will just drop off a cliff and I won't have any confidence and I don't want to talk to anyone. And yeah, that's kind of tying into what I just said. So I'm really bloody clumsy and I will trip over my own feet. I will drop things. I'm lethal with a knife. Do not give me a knife or a knife. If you give me a knife and I'm in the kitchen, you get the fuck out of there, because if I'm using it, I just start waving it around. I'll start chopping things and then I'll drop it and then it will just be a complete fucking mess. I've cut myself God knows how many times by accident, okay? I don't know what it is. When I have something dangerous in my hand, it almost becomes, I'm even more clumsy than I was before. But then if you give me a task where I have to do something really carefully, I'm very good at it. I don't get it. I'm like, it's just, anyway. I'm also really unorganised, massively unorganised, and I'm still working that out. I have no idea how to be organised, but then at work, everything is meticulous. Everything is in it. Everything is in its place. Everything has a home, and I am trying to use that mentality at home, because honestly, my mum has always told me, well, everybody who knows me knows I'm a messy cow. I'm messy. I'm really messy. And that's basically the reflection of my mind. My mind is as messy as my house is. And I hate that. I really hate it, because my OCD then tips in. And then I'm like, oh my God, like this place is a fucking shithole. And I can't do the tidying unless I'm in a hyper focus mood, because then I'm like, right, okay, task, and I can smash it out and I can get everything done. But if I'm not having a hyper focus day, then it just falls by the wayside and I end up with piling up of washing. I end up with fucking just crap everywhere. Like, you know, I'll get my nail stuff out. I'm literally staring at it now. My nail stuff is sitting on the stairs, and that has a home. It's upstairs. It's not on the stairs, but it's sitting there, and it's probably been there for probably about a week and a half, because I can't be bothered. I haven't got the focus, I haven't got the mental capacity to be able to go, right, okay, I need to put that in its home and I need to put this in its home, or I need to make a home for this. And it becomes really chaotic in my mind. The fact that, oh my God, even now I sound like I'm being really ridiculous, but that, like I say, that bag over there that's got all my nail stuff in it has been sat there for like a few weeks, yeah, like I said. God, see, fucking hell. And I overthink it. Not necessarily about that specifically, but just things. I will overthink it, and then I'll be like, oh, I just can't. And then I end up having to go and sit down on the sofa and mindlessly scroll again. And then I'll get to maybe an hour into that and I'll just go, nope, need to get up, need to do something. And then I'll try and kick my hyper focus back into action. But that's now bearing in mind I've gone through 33 years of trying to work this shit out, and well, I say 33 years, that's my entire life, but I've been going through the majority of my life trying to work out what the fuck's going on with me, why the hell I think like this, why the hell I act like this, because the overreaction as well, like, oh my god, I have had so many incidences where I've had to apologise because I've had no filter. I have no filter, so when I get an overflow of emotions, I end up bursting out with, you know, oh, I just hurt people's feelings, I make situations really, really bad, and seriously guys, I can change the atmosphere in a heartbeat, literally, so quick. And I don't like doing that. I don't like changing the atmosphere for a negative reason. Like, if I jump the gun and I start fucking shouting and arguing and stuff like that, all I know is that nothing is going to come from that. That's now anyway. Back then I had no idea about this, and I was like, ah! And I was screaming at people, I was calling people all sorts of fucking names. I was just a bit of a loose cannon. Pretty sure I've had to be put back in the car by now. I basically lost my shit. I lost my shit completely. I was reversing out of a parking space. Somebody else was driving up towards me and gave me no room to carry on reversing, and I was blocking the exit as well. So I was like, what the fuck is this dickhead doing? Like, he can clearly see I'm reversing. There is shit all room behind me because he's put his car there, and now I can't get out the exit, which is essentially blocking up the rest of the fucking car park. So I was really angry. I got out the car, I went, what the fuck are you doing, you fucking and I seriously let rip on this guy. And honestly, I'm really sorry about that. Because yeah, okay, he was being a dick, but there was no reason for me to get out the car and start calling him all sorts of fucking names. Like, I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be the person that's causing a scene. Like, I have been that person and I don't want to do it again. I just don't. It's just not worth it. Unless there is a damn right hard reason behind it. If somebody is treating somebody badly, or I've seen something that it warrants for me to stand up for somebody, I will happily bring that fight. I will happily bring that fight to stick up for anybody. If it means that I'm sticking up for the right reasons, then I will bring that with all vengeance. So, you know, I call on it now when I need to, but before I wouldn't call on it, and it would just happen, and it was scary, very scary. Anyway guys, I'm divulging, I'm telling you all of this, and I've got a list here that I'm reading off, and I'm losing the point. I'm going off on tangents again. ADHD problem, right? So anyway, another thing, I absolutely love being the centre of attention. However, I also like to hide behind closed doors and not speak to anybody. I have serious social anxiety, but when I'm comfortable, I'm the life and soul of the party. And yeah, and everyone wants to be around me, and it's lovely, and I love it when it's like that. But when I go negative and I'm like, no, just don't talk to me, people think that I'm like the confident me all the time. It's not the case, guys. It's not the case. A lot of the time that I am not in my confident elements, so like when I'm at work and you know, when I'm with my family or my friends and stuff like that, I'm not always what they see. They see the confident me. They see the one that's, you know, laughing and joking and having fun and looking after everybody. But then they don't see when I'm sitting at home and I just my brain is just so worn out from everything that I've been processing that I just can't do anything. Just can't do anything. Anyway, right, let's have a look. What else am I saying? Fucking hell. Computer's too far away, guys. It's too far away. Right. So as you can see, most of my life has been two sides of a coin. I'm kind of like Jekyll and Hyde. You know, one minute I'm absolutely fine, like I say, the life and soul of the party. The next I'm just, no, can't do anything. Just worn out, I'm exhausted. And it's a constant battle with that. It's constant flow of this. So anyway, whilst I was, you know, figuring all of this out and all of these things that I'm doing, and the fact that I weren't even figuring it out really. I wasn't. I was just trying to work myself out and trying to work out what No, I wasn't. Guys, I wasn't at all. I weren't trying to work me out. My whole life, I've been trying to work everybody else out. I've been trying to look at everybody else and see how they are behaving, and then in turn tailor myself to be able to behave the way that is ideal for that situation. So that's what I've been spending my life doing. I haven't been looking at myself. I've been looking at how I need to change myself in order to fit in to that situation. That comes back to being bullied and being ostracized and pushed out of everything, basically. But I had to mask in some way, and this was what I did. I watched people, and I watched people's body language and the way that they would talk and the tones that they would use and the way that they would interact with somebody else and stuff like that, so that I could learn from that how they would expect me to react in a situation like that. Because most of the time I'd just fly off the handle, or I'd get really excited, I'd overshare and cause loads of like weird situations. I mean, Jesus, I've had my fair share of awkward moments just because of my mouth. So yeah, so that's that. I was lost basically up until 2020. Now, as everybody knows, 2020, it was a shit year, let's be honest. In the start of it, I went on furlough, and because I was an agency worker, they then decided to let us go. And I had a few months where I was kind of dottering around and not really knowing what I was going to do. I was sort of pursuing my photography and wanting to take that on a little bit more, so I was doing more family shoots and things like that. I initially was pummeling myself into that because I was like, I don't want to sit and wallow about losing one of the most fun jobs that I've ever had. I didn't want to sit and wallow. So I just pummeled myself into my photography. I built my website. I started getting the word out about my family portraits and things like that. That was when my focus was. And then, plot twist, they called me back. The company who had left had called me back and said, we need people to return. Are you in a situation that you could return? And I agreed. I said yes, I'll absolutely come back, because it was good money, and it was a good job, and I enjoyed it, and it was, you know, it kept everything in order, and my mind was fresh and ready for anything whilst I was working there. So I said yes, I jumped at the opportunity, and I returned to my job. Now, when I returned, I was put back onto the same shift that I'd been on, but then a few months later, they then changed up the shift. Anyway, I don't know why I'm telling you all of this. Anyway. Yeah, so at that point, I ended up going to a different shift with people that I'd worked with before, but I didn't necessarily know them quite as well as what I did my previous shift. Anyway, I was working on a line with this guy who, he has an amazing story, and I adored working with him because we were on the same level. And I was talking to him about his life and how he had been diagnosed with ADHD a long time ago. And he's quite upfront about it. He was really willing to tell me more about it, and I asked him questions about it and wanted to know, because I started to see little things that he was doing that I would do as well. And it was just like, if he would like forget something, he'd put something down and then he'd walk away, and then he'd be looking for wherever he put that thing. And it was just little things like this that started me thinking, hang on a minute, I do that as well. Like, oh, that's, you know, it's interesting. So I asked him loads of questions, and he was really open and honest with me, and explained basically the whole assessment process and everything that he went through in order to get his ADHD diagnosis. And he explained like how it affects him through his life, and he was basically reeling off all of this stuff that I've explained to you already. And I was really shocked. I was like, oh wait, hang on. Are you like my brother or something? Like, are we brother and sister and we just don't know it? Like, what the fuck is happening here? We were just too similar for it to be anything else. So I was just like, okay, okay, I'm going to go away and I'm going to research this, because ultimately I don't know a hell of a lot about ADHD, or at that point I didn't know anything really about ADHD. I just knew that it was generally boys that were diagnosed with it, and mostly it was because they were hyper. And they would, you know, it was hard to get them to sit in one place for too long, and it was an attention thing. So they wouldn't necessarily be listening to you properly, or they wouldn't give you eye contact and things like that, because they're on to the next thing. They're thinking about the next thing. And that was my view of ADHD before I spoke to this guy. And it hadn't clicked until this moment, and the penny dropped, and it was like, oh yeah, so I probably have this then. This makes sense. So when I was researching it, I was following loads of people on social media just to see, you know, these people have ADHD, so they were sharing hints, tips, and dealing with ADHD, and what it looks like to be an ADHD female. And it was so interesting, because it's like, wow, I finally found like a community of people that are the same as me. Guys, that's really like hard hitting, because I've never really had that. I was in awe, I was in shock, I was in just disbelief that I'd found something that actually, this might tick all the boxes, this makes sense, that my mind is a million miles an hour, and I'm just, you know, I just feel lost a lot of the time, and I feel lost in my own mind. Like, I don't know how to control it, or at least I haven't known how to control it, and I've had to learn myself a lot. And since 2020, I know myself now a lot better than I did then. So I have done the research, I've worked things out. It took me a good while, guys. It took me a good while to actually get all of the information, but I managed to do, like I say, all of the research. I followed loads of people that had ADHD and that could sort of explain away the things that I'm doing, the traits that I have, and the symptoms of ADHD that I have that is the same as these people. So it sort of started to put all of the everything, all the details are in place now. Now I understand that this actually, it makes sense. It makes sense. After I'd done that, I decided that I would speak to a doctor, and I had already organised for my smear test. So I went in for my smear test and I spoke to the nurse about it. And she said, okay, well, what we need you to do is fill in this questionnaire. It's lots and lots of questions. There was lots of how I deal with situations, or at least whether I agree or disagree with certain statements that were to do with ADHD. So I filled it all in, and I sent it back, and the nurse, bless her, she organised a GP appointment. So I went in to see the doctor after that, and that was the 21st of Feb this year. The GP then explained the process to me, and ultimately it was a case of she will wait for the questionnaire to get to her. Now, bearing in mind, it had been like a week before that I had actually filled this in and sent it back in, and she still hadn't got it. But I think it went to the nurse, so she needed to speak to the nurse to get the questionnaire so that she could do the next part of the referral process. And she said once she got the questionnaire, she will have the reception contact me and they'll organise an appointment. And she said, if you don't hear anything, give us a call. So I completely forgot about that, because me being me, it just went. And anyway, the battery's like dying on my camera, so I'm like trying to hurry up here. So yes, she took me through that. She said that the referral basically is a conversation with the doctor. She'll ask me more questions about the questionnaire that I'd done previous, and then she will send it off to the mental health team and get me logged onto the waiting list, and then from there we can see what happens. It's likely to be 2 years for this, and I was like, sorry, 2 years? And then I thought, well, I've waited 33 years for this, so I think another 2 is not really going to make any difference. So it is what it is. Now, because I had forgotten about contacting the doctor, I actually wasted a whole load of time, so now I've made my wait even longer. But anyway, 3 weeks ago I received a phone call, where it was a few missed calls actually, because I can't take my phone into work, and it was the GP reception wanting to book another appointment. I was a little confused because I was like, hang on a minute, I thought this was referred already, and it wasn't, obviously, because she'd explained it in the last fucking doctor's appointment. That's when I booked another appointment. So this appointment was yesterday, and it was just a phone call, and the doctor basically talked me through some questions. This was covering things like education, my work life, building relationships, if there was anybody else in my family that had ADHD and that had been diagnosed before, and also how it affects my daily life. So I went through all of these questions, and it was a really good conversation, because I was showing that I am a very present person, and I'm a very good hard worker, and I work well with others, but I also don't. But I was basically showing my colours as if I was the centre of attention, that I'm the confident one, that I'm this, I'm that, and it all sounded amazing. And my doctor was just like, yeah, I mean, if you say that you do this as a job, I'm a supply chain analyst, guys. That means I do data analysing, I did build processes and things like that, and deal with training documents and things. So when I said that to her, she was like, yeah, so if I tell them that, they're probably going to be a bit like, yeah, no, she's not got ADHD. But I explained that my managers have been absolutely amazing. I've had support in order to build this role as I want it to, and I've been given that free rein to be able to make it what I want it. So for my ADHD to process everything that's going on in this job role, my managers have made it a lot easier to manage, because they've given me things in small chunks rather than just chucking it all on my plate. So they have been an absolute godsend, and yeah, I thank them so much, because it's a breath of fresh air when you get people that don't want to weigh you down, don't want to stifle your flair. So it's great. And when I said that to her, she was like, oh, okay, that kind of makes sense now then. So she was more than happy to send the referral off, which it is now on its way to be put into the waiting list. So when I got off the call, I literally hung up as Dan got home, as my man got home, and guys, I didn't know what to do for myself. I genuinely didn't know what to do with myself, because I explained everything on that call as best as I could, and I feel like on the call I demonstrated the symptoms that I'd been describing. So the fact that I'm forgetful, the fact that oh, my mind goes here and then it goes here, and then I answer things in a way that I think they want me to answer, and then realise that that's not the case, and then I change my mind, and then I'll backtrack and, you know, go off on tangents like I do on here, you know. So I was so overwhelmed afterwards that I was talking to my man about it, and I was like, I just feel like I've got the wheels in motion now. And I think the thing that made me feel so emotional was that this is something that is hereditary. ADHD is hereditary. So that says to me that there's people in my family that don't know that they've got ADHD, or at least they haven't had the help that they needed. And I feel like I'm that change. I'm that sort of I don't know, because it's such a huge thing to like hold on your shoulders, but it just made me feel amazing that it's almost like that generational change where, you know, the suffering is passed on by generation, and then it gets to one person and they go, no, this isn't good enough. There's something else here. There is something else, and I want answers for that. And that's me. That's me, because I've suffered. I've suffered so hard, guys. I've suffered so badly. And so have people in my family. And they're just the type of people that just get on with it. Just get on with it. Well, that doesn't matter. You know, with the whole stigma around mental health, people just get on with it. They just get on with it. They just bury their heads in the sand. They don't think about the stuff that's going on with their mental health, and then they just carry on and grind themselves into the floor and then have outbursts and arguments and blah, blah, blah. And I don't want to be like that. So I feel like me going through this process is not just for me. It isn't. It's for my family. It's for the people that are around me, so that they can start to learn more about ADHD, start to maybe understand themselves a little bit better. And maybe the people that are around them can then learn how to manage their communications with people with ADHD as well, because it's like we read into stuff, we look at stuff so like, oh, we just rip things apart until there's nothing left, and we understand everything, we delve into everything because we have to have it make sense. And if it doesn't make sense, we then delve in deeper. So I just got so emotional after this conversation, and when I spoke to my other half, he was just amazingly supportive, listened to me, and he gave me a massive cuddle afterwards, and I just literally for like an hour and a half after that, I was like blubbing. I was just crying the entire time because I was happy. That, do you know what I mean? It wasn't like I was upset. It was just a massive relief that the doctor that I'd spoken to was pretty confident that I have ADHD, and she was confident enough to put the referral through. Regardless, I mean, she would have done it anyway, but she said to me that I'm doing the right thing. So, yeah, so guys, I am on the waiting list to get an ADHD diagnosis, and I'm gonna keep you posted the rest of the way. But it's emotional, guys. It's amazing that we're just different. We have a different neuro makeup. Like we're neurodiverse, so we're not the same as neurotypical people. We deal with things differently, we think about different things differently, and we are often outside of the box thinkers. And actually we're very good at looking at everything as a whole and dealing with a problem, as long as we're calm, as long as we're collected, and as long as we've got the mental capacity for it. So guys, I'm still learning about all of this. Why is my battery? Oh my god, my battery's running out. Anyway, battery's running out on there, battery's running out on there, and I'm fucking losing the plot. So guys, I'm gonna leave you today. I'm gonna go and chill out with my dog, and yeah, and enjoy the rest of the afternoon. But guys, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for listening to this. It's probably again going to be a pretty long video, but I'm really happy. Just really happy, and I'm really excited to find out more about this ADHD thing and find out more about myself in the process. So yeah, watch this space, guys. It's only going to get better from here. Anyway, have a great rest of your Sunday, and have a great week coming. And if you've got any questions, comments, anything you want to chuck my way, please do let me know. You guys are amazing, and thank you so much for joining me once again, and I will see you all really soon. Take care of yourself. Goodbye.